Hey everybody, this is Quasar here in the Ag Lab, and we're gonna go do some speed noticings. So we're gonna go outside and we're just gonna see what we see. Just take some time to notice the plant world. Okay, I didn't even make it outside, and I gotta notice these things. They're so sticky. I wonder if we can focus in on the hairs. Oh yeah, look, there's like tiny little hooks at the end of each one of those stalks, like a really small hook. So that's cool. I noticed that this, well, number one, this cone is huge, obviously, but then there's these spikes at the end. Kind of have these two grooves on like each of these bracts. That's kind of cool. And the pattern that they make is interesting. Got some really great branching structures along this moss. All right, here we go. Speed noticings in the Sagan satellite. You might not have a garden. Doesn't matter. You might just have like a patch of grass with a tree in it on the sidewalk. That's all you need, for serious. Okay, here we go. Really white, like pale. And it kind of looks like there are tiny hairs all over this leaf structure that also smells so good. The vining, like the way that this vine, this morning glory, has curled around the stem is very cool. And also the way that these new leaves are like unfolding from, it kind of looks like almost nothing. Like this tiny thing is going to turn into like that big leaf. So that's kind of cool. Oh, wow. The unnoticed, also still very cool. So I'm pretty sure that each one of those little structures on the grass stem is like a little flower. We could get out a magnifying glass, I think, and look a little bit more closely at that. Oh, noticing this neon green. Can you guys see that? Oh, come on, focus in. Oh, that neon green sweat bee was like really just completely in that dandelion. Oh, wow. And there are tons and tons of little bugs all in there. Curious what they're after. Those little curlicues on the top of each of those things, also very cool. Oh, wow. Roots. Look at those. There's like so many all crowded into one little spot. That's crazy. Oh, red. Why are those veins red? Like, does that help the plant? Is that good? I like these little things. Sometimes I like to like pick things apart just to see what's inside. I'm kind of curious. Oh wow, shiny, black, shiny seed in like each one of those. It's really flat. I wonder if it wants things to eat it. Oh, that's the tiniest flower. Oh my god, I love it so much. Okay, moving on. Oh, rot. Don't forget about life is important, but so is the death process. So, I mean, I could do like a whole noticings on decomposition. What is going on here? It's like it's slimier, paler, it's wrinkly. Okay, moving on. Moving on. I mean, it's not always the big and showy. You don't have to go, you're like, oh, plants mean giant tree. No. Plants mean this miracle of life is growing in the sidewalk. I mean, how does it even get the water and the nutrients that it needs? Have you ever seen, there's a really great, Tupac poem, sure. I don't know, some of you might know. Anyway, about roses growing from concrete. So I'm sure you've seen probably pictures of like a flower emerging from a parking lot, like a crack in the parking lot. I'm just curious, how is there enough pressure on the top of a flower to push through concrete? So curious about that. I love seed pods. These ones are great. They rattle. I don't know if you can hear that. They rattle so good. Like each one of these It's full of seeds. Just like full of seeds. And they're curled in. Ah, wonder if that's helpful in some way. Oh yeah, the obvious. Or is it? Looks like one flower from far away. I get up close. It almost looks like each one of these things in here is its own flower. Train. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense. There's tons of pollen collected on these really, really big leaves. Another noticing. Anyway, I guess it makes sense if they're each a flower, if each of them turns into a seed. Also, I don't know if you all know about like the Fibonacci sequence. Sort of this mathematical formula that results in a spiral that lots of plants use, like sunflower heads grow in a Fibonacci sequence. People like the showy dahlias a lot. I happen to really like these frilly leaves. And these are like more ornamental, so curious about like how humans, how did we get from that tiny little pink flower, maybe it was like that ancestor, to this flower? Like, how did we even do that? If you all know about dahlias, they're a big deal. People get pretty into dahlia breeding. Like they take them to the state fair. There's a dahlia competition. Oh yeah. Make a wish. Wow, each one of these papules has a really unique or interesting structure. Curious how that helps it to fly on the wind. Could think about like an ecosystem level. So why is it that lawns fill up with dandelions and these aren't dandelions actually, these are cat's ears, but why is it that the dandelions and these cat's ears thrive in lawns? Most people don't want them here. I love them. The bees love them. Dandelions, not cat's ears, are delicious. Anyway, so, what is it about the lawn ecosystem? Could we use them to our advantage? I mean, if we have them, we're always competing with them. Could we turn it around and look at them as a good thing? Kind of curious about that. And of course the tree. I mean, you could do a day's worth of noticing about this tree. But we'll just go up and do a couple. Noticing lots of leaves on the ground. I notice branches covered in lichen. I notice like 5 kind of leafy things on each individual leaf. That's kind of cool. It's kind of shaped like the pattern of my hand. That bark is so knotted. Why? Helpful? Disease? Fungus? Injury? Branching patterns. Mathematical? Efficient? Fundamental? Is it the same for all trees and all branching plants? Purple. Leaves. What? Why so wiry? Scratchy. Well, how is this shape as efficient as that shape for photosynthesis? Maybe it's not. It wouldn't be a notice thing without my favorite flower shape. You might not know, you don't have to know names for this kind of thing, but I will share the name double umbel. It's like an umbrella, a bunch of spokes, and on each umbrella spoke is another little umbrella. Double umbel. Characteristic of the parsnip. Carrot. Family. Just cool. I wonder if we could utilize that structure for something that humans build. Okay, I don't know if I would call that speed noticing, but I hope that that was helpful in maybe putting things into a different perspective. I think a lot of people look outside and they just see green stuff. It's just green. But if you get kind of close, or you start to learn the names of things, or you just start like become your 8-year-old super curious self and just start asking really good questions, the details start to pop out. Just get inspired, go outside. So stoked to see your noticings and to turn those into some really awesome questions.